Kazakhstan is one of the most multinational countries which gathered representatives of more than 130 ethnicities and nations. Each ethnicity has unique traditions, inimitable holidays, interesting stories and amazing recipes. Recipes of kindness and peace, recipes of respect to your own roots and other people's culture, recipes for friendship.
Hello. Today, the Recipe for Friendship program crew will visit representatives of Ossetian Ethnocultural Association and get acquainted with the representatives of this Caucasian nation, their culture, customs, cuisine, and language. So what is waiting for us in today's program? We will get to know the subtleties of a table etiquette. Following the tradition, and as the youngest person. How old are you? 8. And you? I'm also 8 years old. Well, then both of you are the same age. Come on, try this. Is it tasty? Yes? Now we can cut. And also we will learn how to cook the famous Ossetian pies. We put the filling as much as possible. The secret is that there should be a lot of filling, and the dough itself should be very thin. The thinner, the better. We will listen to the poems and songs in the Ossetian language. We will consider in detail the traditional costume and admire the exciting leskinka. The stronghold of the preservation of Ossetian culture in Almaty is undoubtedly the city's Ossetian Cultural and Educational Center, Ernakhas, which is supervised by Jibek Vladimirovich Mansurov. And although among the Ethnocultural Association that make up the People's Assembly of Kazakhstan, Ernakhas is one of the youngest, Jibek Vladimirovich is an old-timer in the Assembly and in the Ossetian community. There are about 2,000 Ossetians in Kazakhstan. And over 300 people living in Almaty. But Ossetians, in spite of that, strive to preserve their roots. They celebrate their holidays, speak their language, write literature, dance. All this doesn't allow them to forget who they are. It's a very good moment when we meet at our house of friendship and other places on the 1st of May, when there are various holidays associated with the Constitution of the Republic. We meet and communicate among each other. Ossetians of Kazakhstan have much in common in culture and traditions with other peoples of the Caucasus, with whom we have already met. At first glance, it may seem that the orders of Ossetians are less stringent than, say, Chechens or Ingush. However, the cultures have the same basis, and there are many similarities. In addition, in the customs of the Ossetian ethnos, a lot of things echo with the way of life of other nations living in Kazakhstan. Here, let's say the custom of collective mutual aid. Who does not know the word asar? Recently, I attended a round table that was held in the Almaty City Court. And my colleagues discussed the issues related to migration. These are questions that lead to the resolutions of a dispute among people, between organizations, employees, and I talked about the peculiarities of the Ossetian folk traditions. They are similar to the traditions of Kazakhs and the traditions of other people living in Kazakhstan. Especially the part that related directly to mutual assistance. In Kazakh, it is asar, in Ossetians, ziyu. It means help from your neighbors, relatives, and friends. They all gather together to provide you with assistance when you're the most in need. For example, if a person suffered due to natural disaster, if for some reason he does not have enough money, everyone goes to help him to make sure that his problems are resolved. Of course, the best way to get to know the culture of the people is to attend their holiday celebration. Ernakhas and Almaty unites Ossetians regardless of how long they have been living far from their homeland, whether they lead their own home and way of life according to traditions, and how multinational their family is. It is a society that helps Ossetians to meet, to make friends, and give an opportunity to preserve and multiply together what we call connection to the roots, the call of our ancestors. It has become a tradition to meet. We organize not only holidays, we also organize meetings. Thomas Tomasov pays very much attention to the organization of these meetings. And we study our biographies, where we are from, what we know, what we don't know, what kind of traditions we're familiar with, and how well do we know the Ossetian language. I have already progressed to some extent, and I'm already teaching the Ossetian language. We have organized an Ossetian language group. It's not big, and we can practice our language skills there. Here we are step by step studying Ossetian language and to what language group it belongs, what words begin with the letter A and which ones end with the last letter of the alphabet. In the Ossetian language, there are 43 letters. Of course, living in multinational Kazakhstan, many, including Ossetians, can't avoid international marriages. Of course, it mutually enriches our cultures, unites us all. Today, we're invited to the next meeting of Ernakhas Society, where people get acquainted, exchange information, and learn more about their roots and about their culture. Like any other culture, Ossetian culture is generally rich. I'm not without reason always recite poem in Russian. The nations are gold, that's the truth, even it is small, even it is big. One of them is just as small as cent of gold, and the other is as big as a diamond. Gathering together, Ossetians remember their homeland, sometimes even in poems. The image of Alanka is modestly gentle. She is shy and hiding her gaze. She's the one that poets celebrate when she's invited to dance. She glides like a white, delicate swan in the sea, showcasing her outfit graciously. She gets there swirling around her, accompanied by the sound of a harmonica. As if in the air, they're floating, and in the bells you can see their daggers. And her slender figure is beautifully embraced by a silver belt. Embarrassed, she covers her blushed cheeks with her sleeve. Zalina wrote this poem at the time she lived in the Caucasus and was a schoolgirl. Now Ossetia, for her, is just beautiful memory. Thomas Tomasov is one of the elders of the society. Ernakhas jokes that when Ossetians marry girls of other nationalities, they still remain Ossetians, and their homesickness is expressed in their songs.
Kuna da feta in barga, da kafin ma da жарен ма, камлау юначи жарда. Как солнце дня ты для меня, тебя бы лучше не встречать. Ты запоешь, и в сердце дрожь, мне не унять ее опять. Твоих речей звенит ручей, душе взволнованной моей. Жить без тебя не в силах я, о, осетинка славная. Макурыхай, рашучишгай, кунада фета ин барга, да кафын мада жарен мам.
Interesting, for example, a table etiquette of Ossetians. It was at the table that the Ossetians often prayed to God and other saints. Hence the place of feast, funk, literally means table, was also a holy place, beyond which liberties, or unworthy behavior were not allowed. As the well-known actor of film and theater Bibo Vataev said, our ancestors did not have churches and mosques. Funk was their most accessible holy place. Here Ossetians prayed, communicated, and made important decisions. And therefore, don't forget to behave at the table as you are supposed to behave in a holy place. So the table has always been set according to strict rules. It is known in which order and what dishes to serve. The seating arrangement of guests is regulated. The head of the house usually sits always facing east. Women in the old days sat at a separate table. Now it is observed only in very traditional villages or families. Next, we should pay attention to 3 pies. After everyone is seated, the elders call 3-5 young people who come up and stand to their right. Heister pushes the 3 pies in such a way that it can be seen from above that the pies are exactly 3. In this case, the top pie should be shifted to the left and the second to the right. And after the prayers and all the necessary words are said, the youngest of the men bites off the coveted piece of the pie. Following the tradition, and as the youngest person, how old are you? 8. And you? I'm also 8 years old. Well, then both of you are the same age. Come on, try this. Is it tasty? Yes? Now we can cut. 3 pies is an important symbol, although for a large family, there are certainly more than 3 of them prepared. Are you ready to learn how to cook them? Well, finally we will learn how to cook the Ossetian cuisine. Irina will tell us all about what is it famous for, how the main dishes are prepared. Well, let's get down to the famous Ossetian pies. Yes, the most famous are the Ossetian pies. All the Caucasian people have something of dough and cheese, but here I see the stuffing is different today, right? Yes, of course we have a lot of stuffing, but the most popular are cheese. Of course, an experienced eater and connoisseur of national cuisine will immediately note the resemblance to both Georgian hachapuri and Chechen chapels and Karachay kachin. There certainly are a lot of similarities, but also there are their own subtleties. Fillings from cheese are basic, so the 3 pies is a ritual. Yes, and with other types of fillings. With other stuffing, it is just an option for food lovers, so that it won't be the same every day. Here, for example, we have cheese, and generally the idea should be the beet leaves. But since now it is not the season, we use spinach and pumpkin. Sometimes we make pies with potatoes. You can even use beans, cabbage, whatever. But the most beloved of all Ossetians is sugar gent. Sugar gent with beet leaves. And of course, pies with meat. Kazakhs at the end maybe serve manti. We have pies with meat at the end. Well, now we will cook something quick, something simple. Dough. I see you've made it in advance, and it is a yeast dough. Yeast dough is made in advance. The composition of the dough is simple, the yeast base, and the main thing is to give it time to get ready. The most common recipe, a little milk, yeast, a little water, salt, an egg. You can add a few eggs. So again, every woman can do it in her own way. Yes, of course, in principle it does not interfere with one another. The aroma and the consistency of a dough says that it is ready. The most delicious pies come out when a woman who cooks them put as much stuffing as possible. So as they say, she is very generous. But it's also important to keep track of the dough so it won't tear apart. Can I help you? This is a great one. Now we will make them together. Excellent. For me, you know, working with the dough is like a meditation. This is very soothing, as long as the result is successful. This is how we do it. We roll it out. We do everything with our hands. We did not use any other appliances. I feel like it didn't rest enough. Well, for me, it seems very pliable. Oh, now I will learn how to make Ossetian pies, and I will cook it later for my family. We add stuffing as much as possible. The secret of the pies is that there should be a lot of stuffing, and the dough, the thinner, the better. Irina, who also attends the meetings of Irnahas Society, came here from Ossetia back in the late 90s at the call of the heart and love. And where are you from, and from what part of the Ossetia? I come from Vladikavkaz. I'm a city native resident. I was born there, I grew up there. 20 years ago I came here with my husband, and he was from here. And your husband is also Ossetian. Yes, he is. But he's from Kazakhstan. And how do you feel yourself now, as a Kazakhstani? Yes, I am Kazakhstani. I've been living here for 20 years. They asked me to come back, but somehow I don't think it will happen. During our conversation, we quickly learned how to cook our pies. But on the eve of big holidays, of course, women bake more pies, and there are many assistants in the kitchen. And we already know that whatever Caucasus women bake and cook is very delicious. And that's the way we should try to be careful so that the dough won't tear apart. The stuffing should be evenly distributed inside. But in general, this dish is from everyday menu, or you cook this only for the holidays. Well, now it is certainly an everyday dish, and before it was cooked strictly for the holidays, especially the 3 pies. And not less than 3. Of course, if a large number of people from 100 or 112, then we bake more pies. And when we bake it for such unpleasant events as funerals, then we bake 2 pies. Well, you're good at it. Well, with such a dough, the dough is ready. It's easy to show my skills now. Great. Now we learned a little bit about the Ossetian cuisine. Try to distribute it evenly. And before we put it into oven, we make a hole in the middle in order for the air to evaporate. In the countryside, the custom has still survived when the hostess gets up early in the morning and starts the dough early. What if someone come to visit? Relatives or friends can come without a warning, and you need to feed a traveler on the road. It is a holy deed in any culture. Therefore, the dough should always be ready. So suddenly, let's say, uninvited guests come and she quickly can bake some pies. With a well-prepared dough, the baking time is 15 to 20 minutes. Our pies are placed on a heated frying pan, and you do not need to lubricate it with oil. Just place it into the oven. In about 20 minutes, you can enjoy a ruddy dough and aromatic filling, regale guests, and say the toasts. Well, while there is a feast, there is usually a dance. And here we see Lezginka, and not for the first time. It is worth noting that Lezginka is not just a dance. It is a kind of code for the people of the Caucasus. It has a lot of names. It appears in different languages like Likuri, Stema, Kaft, Halkhar, and this is not a complete list. Nevertheless, the common name, Lezginka, is the most commonly used name. In Kazakhstan, we know it at Lezginka too. Many people are dancing Lezginka. Someone will tell you that the classic Lezginka is considered to be a Dagestan Lezginka. Maybe, but in fact, Dagestanis in turn are divided into 36 indigenous people and even more. There is also Chechen Lezginka. Closest to the Ingush, there is Karachay, Kabardin, Ossetian. By the way, they say that the Ossetian version of this dance is characterized by a calm, smooth manner of performance, even for the male dancers. In one of our programs, we saw the Azerbaijani Lezginka, and all these versions are similar and different at the same time. What unites all types of Lezginka? The fact that the epicenter of movement and the dance is a man. Dancers seem to compete in the distance, fighting with their dance skills, then throwing their arms like eagle wings, then falling to their knees. The military history of the origin of this dance is confirmed by another version of its origin. Some historians argue that Lezginka is one of the 4 parts of the Asian dance Lazgi, known almost from the time of the Achaemenid Empire. One of the parts of the spectacle dance stayed as part of the inhabitants of the Khwarezm Khanate's culture, where the girls dance with special castanets. A military, the male part, fully revealed and blossomed in a magnificent color, having reached the age of the Caucasus. And it was there that due to phonetic metamorphosis, the word Lazgas gradually turned into Lezginka. Was it like this in reality? And which version can be considered as the true version? This is perhaps the topic for a separate study and a separate program. And today, we just want to dance. Now allow us to say goodbye to our new friends, and let's hope we meet again in our big common house. Yours, Alevtina Madyarova.